Hey everyone, miss me. There's like this episode of Teen Titans where Tara had been gone for like a really long time and then she comes back and she's just like, miss me, and like, I don't know, I always thought that was such a cool moment and I've been trying to relive it ever since, and I will never be that cool. Anyways, for those of you who have not seen my face in a while and you're wondering why the fuck I'm showing up on your timeline, my name is Ashton, and this channel is kind of like this like weird hodgepodge of a bunch of different things. It started off as me sharing my original horror stories. Then I also like joined a podcast called The Night Scholars, which by the way is on its new channel now. If you were looking for it, I will post the link to that down in the description. I also was doing a series with my friend Kayla where we took Taylor Swift songs and turned them into horror stories. Unfortunately, that is on hiatus right now just because writing and uploading a story every other month when you were also an adult with other responsibilities was starting to get draining for both of us, and I was so bad about procrastinating and writing all of them like the last minute. And so even though I'm fine with the stories, they did not come out as polished as I would love for them to, which there's this whole debate on like whether or not I even want to post my best stories for public consumption. Again, I'm proud of them. I feel like I always kind of talk myself down a little bit. Like, they are good stories. Just the way in which I was writing it did not seem very authentic to myself. Maybe it did. I do postpone things to the last minute a lot. It doesn't matter. The point is, hi, I'm back. So I had that, and then what I really love to post about is productivity, while also giving kind of like little insights into what I'm currently thinking about, what I'm contemplating as I kind of go along my journey of getting to understand myself better and understanding the world and the different perspectives of others so much more, and how we're all interconnected, which as a storyteller is something that I constantly am thinking about. So I don't necessarily know if I have a format in mind for this video. It's just kind of me getting used to posting content again. This year, I really had some fantastic carryover from something that I did near the end of November. For those of you who don't know, I am this insane person. I decided to set 600 goals for myself. And the way in which I was keeping track of it was I had several different notebooks. I wanted to cut back on my soda, I wanted to come back on my fast food, I wanted to make a certain amount of money, I wanted to do so much in concern to my writing, I wanted to find a publicist. So many like little things that I just wanted to do. And one of the things that I wanted to do was attend a film meet and greet. I've been interested in script writing for like a little while now, and I have also like kind of been curious about film. Like, I knew that I wanted film to be a part of my life. I didn't really know like in what capacity, but I knew that I wanted to at least be on a set in the future, and I wanted to be on a set multiple times over where I knew the directors, where I knew like all of the crew, but I didn't know anything about it. So I went to this film meet and greet back in November, and I was talking to the people there like, hey, like I'm a writer, I want to figure out how I can get more involved. And this one guy was like, hey, you should try out background acting just so you can kind of like be on set, get a feel for it, see if that's actually the direction that you want to go in. Here are these different things, and they are actually looking for people to be in this movie. And I said, cool, okay. So I submitted my information. A few weeks later, I ended up getting a phone call saying like, hey, like we're interested in using you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it was a really, really small set. It was like maybe 15 to 25 background, and it was very like intimate. I got to know the people really well, and somebody else told me about more things that we're shooting. And I was like, okay, like, or different background agencies. And I was like, okay, like I'm hooked on this. Like I want to do this. And long story short, that is now what I do fairly frequently. I fell in love with doing background acting. I realized that although I will always be a writer, that the thing that really drew me to writing in the first place was just the ability to bring stories to life, which acting also fulfills. And it's also given me so many opportunities to speak to people of various backgrounds, to get to know myself, to be more comfortable with who I am as a person, and to feel accepted in expressing my ideas, being around people who are just like, wow, you did 600 goals in a year. That's amazing. I'm just like, thank you. Like, I thought I was insane for this, but you're saying that you want to adapt something like that. Like, okay. Told them about like my solo birthday retreats, told them about like all of this, and I really have met some incredible people who are like me that have really encouraged me in my growth. And because I've just been so busy with all of that, I haven't really figured out how to balance my home life as much and all of the other projects. And it's now April, and I'm finally like, okay, if I set my schedule like this, then I should be able to post content more frequently. And so that's what I kind of want to do, is that. And I think that you will probably end up seeing even more of a change to this channel as I start to feel more comfortable talking to you about the ideas that I'm having right now, and and how I am achieving my goals, how the productivity works. It's so strange how we feel as if we like are backsliding when we start getting into something new, because we're just like, oh well, we don't have time to do the thing that we used to do. Like, where did all of my time go? And it's just because you are stepping into something that is new and it's exciting, and there's so much to learn before it becomes a natural part of who you are as a person. And with so much, like, your brain needs time to process before it's able to get back to, okay, like, I'm comfortable with this. I know what I'm doing now. I can start implementing things from my past that I would love to do in my present, and to not give up on those goals and to figure out how it works, and while I'm aligning myself with the goals that I want to have in my life, if that makes sense. Or right now, the things that I'm really focusing on are my ability to be a bit more candid, to be a lot more true to who I am and be more authentic. I'm working towards this goals that I set for myself in 2020 for how I want my first day in 2030 to look like. I can finally see the vision for that. I know what I need to be doing in the next like 5 years to get to that point. And I'm excited to see like kind of how things progress, because it's no matter a question of, will this thing that I came up with in 2020, hi, I'm going to interrupt myself real quick right here. So in 2020, I heard this concept of picturing a day in your life 10 years in the future and being very specific about what's happening. Think about it in the most ideal way possible and write it as if it's something that you can really visualize. And most people who did this exercise, they come back and say, yes, this is what my day in the life in the future looked like. I only wish that I would have been more specific. And so I knew that, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be very haughty about this. I'm going to say that I'll have published 3 books, that I will be on set, I will have charity events, I will have been married, I will have kids, I will be living in my dream destination, or at least being there frequently enough where I'm able to throw parties for myself there, and I will be waking up in the most expensive suite that overlooks the Eiffel Tower. And I was like, okay, if this is my future, then this is awesome. Turns out already that maybe, just maybe, I might have been selling myself a little bit short, and that's incredible. So that's where I am right now. I have my 600 goals that I'm working towards. I break those down into monthly goals. I am very big believer in manifestation now, and the law of attraction, and the idea of higher self, etc. All of that kind of spiritual stuff right now. And I will be sharing insights with you. I will be sharing stories potentially as they come to me, and I feel as if I should be sharing them on here. If Kayla and I are able to start back up, Taylor Swift but Make It Horror, then I will do that. I might do my own project version of that, where I start working on another artist. I don't really know at this point, because I do also need to be working on my own book, so I might be having days where I'm just doing hey, write with me, and this is the progress of it. I don't necessarily know what direction I want to go in, but I want to be back. I want to be writing. I want to be presenting my face on camera more. It makes me feel more comfortable when I am doing background work, which will hopefully be acting work sooner rather than later. And it's just nice to be able to look at myself in the camera right now, talking to an imaginary audience who will inevitably be watching this later. And yeah, so if you're wanting to follow a completely random vlog of productivity, of writing, of acting, which I can't talk about acting, I can in vague terms, but I can't tell you what 3, 4, 5, I think it's 5 celebrities I met this year. I can't talk about any of that information, but you could see my face soon in a movie, maybe for half a second, because it's a real glamorous life. But man, that half a second's gonna send me. I'm gonna be so happy when I see my face for half a second. I think next month, in May. Super excited. All right, goodbye.